The arena fell silent as Ambassador Kexithera's booming voice echoed across the crystalline amphitheater. "Behold the supposed apex species of Terra." The towering Vortan gestured dismissively at the small figure standing in the center of the combat ring. "This child is what humanity sends to prove their worth?" Ripples of laughter cascaded through the assembled delegates from a dozen star systems. The Krillian representatives clicked their mandibles in amusement, while the gas-dwelling Etherians pulsed with chromatic mockery. Even the stoic mechanoids emitted grinding sounds that passed for their version of mirth. Elena Martinez stood barely 5 feet tall, her brown hair tied back in a simple ponytail. At 19, she looked even younger among the assembled aliens, some of whom towered 15 feet above her. Her simple gray jumpsuit bore no decorations, no weapons, no technological enhancements, just the small Earth insignia on her shoulder. "The Galactic Council has witnessed many species attempt the trial of dominance," Kexithera continued, his 4 arms spreading wide. "None have succeeded without cybernetic enhancement, genetic modification, or advanced weaponry. Yet humanity claims their representative needs none of these." He leaned forward, his serpentine neck extending toward Elena. "Tell me, little human, do you even understand what you face?" Elena's voice carried clearly across the arena despite its softness. "I understand perfectly." She looked up at the viewing platforms where hundreds of alien dignitaries observed. "You believe strength comes from size, from technology, from fear. You're about to learn otherwise." The mocking laughter intensified. The Brutak warchief pounded his massive fists against his chest. "The human pup speaks of strength. My people have conquered 12 systems through might alone. And yet," Elena replied calmly, "you're here talking instead of fighting." Kexithera's eyes narrowed. Throughout the galaxy, the Vorthan were known for their cunning and their undefeated war beasts. No species had ever successfully completed their trial of dominance. A ritual combat against a Scalix, a 12-foot-tall predator with armored hide, razor claws, and the crushing strength to tear through starship hulls. "Very well," Kexithera hissed. "Release the Scalix." The arena floor trembled as massive doors groaned open. What emerged defied the nightmares of a dozen worlds. The Scalix stood on 4 pillar-like legs, its elongated skull housing rows of crystalline teeth. Its hide shimmered with biometallic scales that had turned aside plasma bolts and monomolecular blades alike. Twin tails lashed behind it, each tipped with bone spears capable of punching through armor plating. The creature's roar shook dust from the arena's highest reaches. Several delegates stepped back from the viewing platforms despite the energy barriers protecting them. Elena didn't move. "Last chance, human," Kexithera called. "Surrender now and we will grant your species the dignity of a swift rejection from the Council." Elena's response was to step forward. The Scalix charged, its massive bulk moving with terrifying speed. Delegates gasped as the creature's claws carved furrows in the arena floor. Elena waited until the last possible second, then moved, not away but directly toward the beast. She slid between its front legs, her small size suddenly an advantage. The Scalix's claws swept over her head as she rolled beneath its massive body. In one fluid motion, she grabbed onto the creature's underbelly scales and pulled herself up onto its back. "Impossible," breathed the mechanoid representative. "The human female exhibits no superhuman modifications." The Scalix bucked and writhed, but Elena held on with a grip that seemed to defy physics. She wasn't just clinging, she was studying, her eyes tracking the creature's movements, analyzing its anatomy with the focused intensity of a predator. "Humans," she called out, her voice somehow carrying over the beast's roars. "Spent 2 million years hunting creatures bigger than themselves. We brought down mammoths with spears, outsmarted saber-toothed cats, and survived ice ages. We didn't do it with size or scales or venom." The Scalix slammed itself against the arena wall, trying to crush her. Elena leaped clear at the last moment, landing in a perfect crouch as chunks of stone rained down. "We did it," she continued, circling the now furious beast, "with our minds. With pattern recognition, with adaptation." The Scalix lunged again. This time Elena didn't dodge, she jumped forward, landing on the creature's head. Her fingers found the gaps between its armor plates, pressing against nerve clusters that even the Vorthan didn't know existed. The beast stumbled, confusion clouding its predatory focus. "Every species in this galaxy relies on their natural advantages," Elena said, riding the swaying creature like a surfer on a wave. Strength, speed, armor, technology. But humans, we learn to see weakness where others see strength. Her hands moved with surgical precision, applying pressure to specific points. The Scalex's roars turned to whimpers as its own nervous system betrayed it. "You see a massive predator," Elena explained to the stunned audience. "I see leverage points, center of gravity, nervous system vulnerabilities. I see a creature that has never faced an opponent who studies instead of simply attacking." The Scalex collapsed to its knees, then rolled onto its side, completely paralyzed, but unharmed. Elena dismounted gracefully, not even breathing hard. The arena was dead silent. "Humans don't just adapt to our environment," she said, addressing the assembly. "We adapt our environment to us. We turn disadvantages into advantages. We make weakness into strength. And most importantly," she looked directly at Ambassador Kexithera, "we never accept that something is impossible just because it's never been done before." The Vorthan ambassador's 4 hands trembled. In 3,000 years, no being had ever defeated a Scalex without killing it. The human had done something far more impressive. She had made it submit through understanding rather than violence. The trial," Kexithera stammered, "is complete," Elena finished. "Now shall we discuss humanity's membership in the Galactic Council, or would you prefer to underestimate us again?" The silence stretched until the mechanoid representative began a slow, mechanical applause. One by one, other delegates joined in, their various forms of appreciation creating a cacophony of clicks, hums, and rhythmic sounds. Elena smiled and walked toward the exit, leaving behind an arena full of beings who would never again mistake human size for human capability. Behind her, the Scalex rose to its feet, shook its massive head, and followed her like a loyal pet, the first of its kind to recognize a superior predator when it saw one. The small human girl had indeed torn down their war beast, not with her bare hands but with something far more dangerous, her human mind.